There is a moment no one sees, a comment, a tone, a look, and suddenly your chest tightens. Your jaw locks. Your thoughts accelerate. You rehearse arguments in your mind. You imagine what you should have said. You tell yourself you're calm, but inside you are burning. You don't explode. You don't scream. You maintain composure, but hours later, you're still arguing in your head, still replaying it, still trying to win a battle that already ended. And this is the hidden weakness. You believe your emotions belong to you, but they are being controlled by someone else. A sentence from another person can ruin your entire day. A small act of disrespect can steal your peace. A misunderstanding can dominate your mind for hours. You think you're reacting to the world, but in truth, the world is controlling you. This is where Stoicism begins. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotion. It is not about becoming cold. It is not about pretending nothing affects you. Stoicism is about sovereignty, the inner kingdom. It is the philosophy that teaches you do not control what happens. You control how you respond. And that difference is everything. The Stoics understood something most people never realize. Provocation is inevitable. Suffering is optional. When someone insults you, what truly hurts? The words or your interpretation of the words? You feel disrespected. But what was actually harmed? Your body, your future, your survival, or your image? Stoicism separates event from judgment. An event happens. Then your mind assigns meaning. Then your body reacts. The Stoic intervenes between event and judgment. That space is power. There are only two categories in life. What is within your control? What is not? You cannot control. Other people's opinions, their tone, their disrespect, their immaturity, their anger, you can control. Thy still be your may, your interpretation, your response, your composure, your values. Yet most people reverse this. They try to control others and neglect themselves. This is why they suffer. When you try to control what is outside you, you become fragile. When you master what is inside you, you become unshakable. Ask yourself, why does another person's behavior dictate your emotional state? Because you have outsourced your inner authority. Stoicism is reclaiming it. Emotional mastery does not mean you feel nothing. It means you feel everything. But you choose your action carefully. There is a difference between impulse and response. Impulse is immediate. Response is intentional. When provoked, the weak react instantly. The strong pause. That pause is discipline. And discipline is freedom. You are not calm because nothing happens. You are calm because you are trained. Just as a soldier trains for battle, the Stoic trains for insult, for inconvenience, for misunderstanding. Not because he expects chaos, but because chaos is inevitable. Today, provocation is constant. A coworker undermines you in a meeting. A stranger leaves a passive-aggressive comment online. A family member questions your decisions. Traffic blocks your schedule. Someone interrupts you mid-sentence. These are not catastrophic events, yet they drain your peace. Why? Because your ego feels attacked, and ego is fragile. Stoicism teaches endurance over comfort. Most people seek comfort. The Stoic seek strength. Comfort says, they shouldn't treat me like that. Strength says, this is an opportunity to practice control. The world becomes your training ground. Every irritation is a test, not of anger, but of character. True power reveals itself under pressure. Anyone can appear calm when things are smooth. But when challenged, your nervous system speaks the truth. When provoked, ask yourself silently, is this within my control? If not, release it. Does this threaten my values? If not, it is noise. Will reacting improve the situation? If not, silence is strength. You are not required to attend every argument you are invited to. Let others lose control. That is their battle. Your battle is internal. Your opponent is impulsiveness. Your weapon is restraint. Here is where Stoicism becomes radical. It does not merely teach acceptance. It teaches love. Amor Fati. Love of fate, not tolerance, not resignation. Love, the insult, necessary. The disrespect, useful. The challenge, perfect, because each event gives you a chance to strengthen your character. If life only gave you comfort, you would remain weak, Fate provokes you to reveal whether you have mastered yourself. The Stoic says, "Good, another opportunity to practice." Not because suffering feels pleasant, but because growth requires friction. There comes a moment in your practice when something changes, someone provokes you. You feel the initial surge, but you do not attach to it. You observe it, like watching weather pass through the sky. Anger arises. You do not become anger. Frustration appears. You do not obey it. There is space now. And in that space, you choose. You choose composure. You choose silence. You choose a measured reply, or no reply at all. And something powerful happens. You realize no one can force you to lose control. Not unless you consent. That realization is liberation. Most people spend their lives reacting. They react to headlines, to comments, to moods, to gossip. They are pulled emotionally in every direction. But the Stoic builds an inner anchor. Resilience is not about resisting emotion. It is about not being ruled by it. Imagine the freedom of walking through provocation untouched. Not indifferent, but steady. Imagine hearing criticism and calmly extracting what is useful, discarding what is not. Imagine being misunderstood and remaining grounded in your own clarity. This is emotional sovereignty. Mastery is not built in dramatic confrontations. It is built in small daily irritations. The delayed email, the slow cashier, the unexpected expense, the slight inconvenience. These are rehearsals. If you lose control in small moments, you will collapse in larger ones. The Stoic trains constantly, not visibly, not loudly, but internally. Each irritation becomes a reminder. I control myself. Over time, your nervous system rewires. What once triggered you now barely moves you. You become heavier internally, more stable, less reactive. And people notice. They may not understand it, but they feel it. When you remain calm while others lose control, you hold psychological advantage. Calmness unsettles aggression. Measured speech disarms hostility. Silence exposes insecurity. When someone tries to provoke you and you do not react, they confront themselves. You deny them emotional leverage. You refuse to participate in chaos. That is power, not domination, not intimidation, control. One of the deepest Stoic teachings is simple. Reality does not bend to your preference. People will misunderstand you. They will project onto you. They will judge you unfairly. They will act from their wounds. This is not a personal attack. It is human nature. Once you accept this, you stop expecting perfection from imperfect beings. You stop being shocked by flaws. You stop being surprised by immaturity. And when you are not surprised, you are not destabilized. Acceptance removes friction. Resistance creates suffering. There is a certain quiet confidence that comes from emotional discipline. You speak less. You react slower. You observe more. You no longer need to win every argument. You no longer need validation. You no longer feel urgency to defend your ego, because you know who you are. An identity rooted in values is unshakable. The world can test you, but it cannot define you. Staying calm when provoked is not about appearing strong. It is about being free. Free from manipulation, free from impulsiveness, free from regret, free from emotional dependency. Every provocation asks you one question. Who is in control? The other person or you? And every time you choose restraint, you strengthen your inner authority. You build a mind that does not collapse under pressure. You become sovereign. So the next time someone provokes you, pause, breathe, observe, and remember, nothing external has power over you, unless you grant it. Now reflect honestly. When you are provoked, are you defending your values or protecting your ego? I want to hear your answer. Let us go deeper, because understanding Stoicism intellectually is easy. Living it, when your pride is touched, when your reputation feels threatened, when your authority is challenged, that is the real test. And this is where most people fail, not because they lack knowledge, but because they lack awareness in the moment. When someone provokes you, your body reacts before your philosophy does. Your heart rate rises, your muscles tense, your breathing shortens, adrenaline enters your bloodstream. This is ancient wiring. Your nervous system does not distinguish between a physical threat and a social one. An insult triggers the same primitive circuitry, as danger once did thousands of years ago. Your body prepares to fight. But here is the Stoic realization. You are not required to obey every biological impulse. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is your character. Most people collapse into that first surge. They speak from it. They act from it. They regret from it. The Stoic trains to recognize the surge and delay the response. That delay is not weakness. It is command. Let us be honest. Not every comment affects you. If someone insults a skill you don't value, you barely react. But if someone questions your intelligence, your competence, your worth, now it burns. Why? Because provocation attaches itself to insecurity. You are only triggered. Where you are uncertain, Stoicism invites radical self-examination. Instead of asking, "Why are they disrespecting me?" ask, "Why does this disturb me?" This question changes everything, because it shifts focus inward, and that is where your power lives. If criticism destabilizes you, strengthen your competence. If mockery wounds you, strengthen your self-definition. If rejection shakes you, strengthen your independence. The world reveals your weak points. It does not create them. When provoked, your ego whispers, respond. Defend yourself. Put them in their place. But clarity asks a different question. What outcome do I want? Do you want to win the moment or win your life? Every impulsive reaction feels powerful in the moment, but long-term strength requires restraint. There is a difference between reacting to protect pride and responding to protect principle. The Stoic does not defend pride. The Stoic defends character. And sometimes the most powerful defense is silence, not passive silence. Not fearful silence, intentional silence, because not every attack deserves energy, and your energy is finite. Imagine this. You are in a meeting. You present an idea. A colleague interrupts you, undermines your point, sadly dismisses your contribution. You feel heat rising. You want to respond sharply, but pause. Ask, is my anger helping the idea or harming it? You breathe. You respond calmly. Let me clarify the reasoning behind it. Your tone steady, your posture relaxed, your voice controlled. In that moment, you gain credibility, not because you dominated, but because you remained composed. Calmness under pressure signals authority. Emotional volatility signals insecurity. People trust the stable mind. Today, strangers provoke you from behind screens. They project, they insult. They criticize without context. If you allow it, you will spend hours defending yourself against people who do not matter. The Stoic principle applies here brutally. You cannot control opinions. You can control attention. Attention is currency. Where you place it, you empower it. If you feed provocation with emotional investment, you reward it. If you withdraw attention, it fades. The Stoic is selective with focus. He does not chase validation. He does not chase argument. He builds internally. Let us revisit Amor Fati, love of fate. It means this. When someone provokes you, you do not say, "Why is this happening to me?" You say, "This is happening for my growth." Every irritation becomes training. Every conflict becomes refinement. Every challenge becomes strengthening. Without resistance, muscle does not grow. Without friction, character does not deepen. Fate gives you exactly the opponents your discipline requires. Love that, because without them, you would remain average. Calmness is not personality. It is practice. Here is how the Stoic trains. Morning preparation. Before the day begins, remind yourself, you will encounter impatience, ignorance, ego, and disrespect today. Not pessimism, preparation. When it happens, you are not surprised. Micro-pauses. When triggered, do not speak immediately. Inhale slowly. Exhale slowly. 3 seconds can save 3 years of regret. Perspective expansion. Ask, will this matter in 5 years? Most provocations dissolve under long-term vision. Identity anchoring. Remind yourself who you are. I am disciplined. I am controlled. I do not surrender my mind. Identity shapes action. At first, staying calm feels forced. You suppress. You endure. You struggle internally. But over time, something profound shifts. You no longer suppress anger. You simply do not generate as much of it, because you interpret differently. You see insecurity in those who provoke. You see pain behind aggression. You see immaturity behind hostility. And compassion replaces reactivity, not softness. Understanding. When you understand, you do not take things personally. And when you do not take things personally, you become unshakable. There is a level of strength that does not announce itself. It does not argue loudly. It does not prove itself constantly. It stands still. And stillness under pressure intimidates chaos. When someone cannot provoke you, they lose leverage. When they cannot control your emotions, they cannot control you. This is psychological independence. This is Stoic mastery. You will fail sometimes. You will react. You will raise your voice. You will regret words spoken too quickly. Do not condemn yourself. Observe, learn, adjust. Stoicism is not perfection. It is progress. Each failure becomes data. Each mistake becomes refinement. Even your loss of control can become material for growth. Amor Fati applies here too. Love the lesson. Imagine walking through life untouched by petty provocations. Imagine hearing criticism and calmly extracting truth without emotional collapse. Imagine being insulted and remaining centered. Imagine someone trying to destabilize you and failing. This is not fantasy. It is discipline applied daily. The world will always test you. The question is not whether provocation will come. It will. The question is, will you be governed by impulse or guided by principle? Will you surrender your mind or command it? In your next moment of tension, remember this: calm is not weakness. Calm is control. Calm is power restrained. Calm is sovereignty. And sovereignty begins within. So let me ask you something deeper now. The last time you were provoked, did you react to defend your ego or respond to defend your character? Tell me honestly. Let us continue, not as spectators of philosophy, but as practitioners of it, because emotional mastery is not proven in theory. It is proven in the exact moment. Your pride is pierced. When someone provokes you, there are two battles happening at once. The visible battle, the words exchanged, the tone, the posture, and the invisible battle, the one inside your mind. The visible battle is temporary. The invisible one shapes your character. Most people obsess over the external opponent. The Stoic studies the internal reaction. You are not fighting the person. You are fighting the urge to interrupt, the urge to dominate, the urge to humiliate, the urge to prove. And here is the uncomfortable truth. The urge feels powerful, but it is weakness in disguise. True strength is not loud. It is regulated. Every insult is a mirror. If it angers you, ask why. If it wounds you, ask where. If it lingers in your mind, ask what it threatens. The Stoic does not deny emotional pain. He investigates it. You may discover that you are attached to an image of being respected, an image of being admired, an image of being seen as competent. When that image is threatened, you react. But the Stoic identity is not built on image. It is built on virtue, and virtue cannot be insulted. If you are disciplined, someone calling you lazy does not make it true. If you are honest, someone accusing you falsely does not corrupt your integrity. Your character is not altered by noise, only by your actions. So the only real danger is not what they say. It is what you choose to become in response. Time is a weapon. When provoked, delay is power. The world encourages instant reaction, instant replies, instant outrage, instant defense. But speed belongs to impulse. Depth belongs to reflection. The Stoic creates distance between emotion and action. You feel the surge. You acknowledge it. But you do not move yet. This delay accomplishes three things. It weakens the emotion. It restores logic. It protects your dignity. Many conflicts die in silence. Many arguments dissolve when not fed. Many aggressors retreat when not engaged. Silence, when intentional, is not avoidance. It is control. Some misunderstand Stoicism. They think it means bottling emotion. No. Suppression stores tension. Mastery transforms it. Suppression says, I shouldn't feel this. Mastery says, I feel this, but I choose wisely. You are allowed to feel anger, but you are not required to act from it. You are allowed to feel hurt, but you are not required to retaliate. You are allowed to feel disrespected, but you are not required to prove yourself. The Stoic does not deny humanity, he refines it. There is something fascinating about composure. When you remain calm in conflict, some people become more aggressive. Why? Because they expected control over your reaction. Your calmness denies them emotional access. It reveals their instability, and that can frustrate them. Do not mistake their escalation for your failure. Sometimes your calm exposes what they cannot regulate within themselves. Remain steady, not to appear superior, but to remain sovereign. Emotional reactions feel satisfying in the short term, but they damage long-term credibility. Think about the people you respect. Are they reactive, explosive, defensive, or measured? Grounded, deliberate? Reputation is built slowly, destroyed quickly. Every moment of restraint strengthens your future self. Every moment of impulsiveness weakens it. The Stoic plays the long game. He thinks in years, not seconds. He values character over momentary victory. Because the goal is not to win arguments. The goal is to win mastery over oneself. When provoked, your inner voice determines everything. If your internal dialogue says, "How dare they?" you escalate. If it says, "This is unbearable," you react. But if it says, "This is practice," everything changes. Reframe provocation as training. You are not being attacked. You are being tested. And tests are opportunities to advance. Each time you remain composed, you strengthen neural pathways of discipline. Over time, calm becomes natural, not forced, natural. One of the most powerful Stoic shifts is detachment from outcome. You cannot control whether someone respects you. You cannot control whether they agree. You cannot control whether they understand. You can control your conduct. Detach from how they respond. Anchor to how you behave. This eliminates desperation. When you are not desperate for approval, you are difficult to manipulate. When you are not desperate to be right, you are free to be calm. When you are not desperate to win, you cannot be provoked easily. Desperation feeds reaction. Self-sufficiency breeds peace. There will be a moment in your life when someone tries to humiliate you publicly, or undermine you deliberately, or insult you intentionally, and you will feel the familiar surge. But this time, you will breathe. You will observe. You will choose. And you will respond with clarity, not sarcasm, not rage, not defensiveness. Clarity. And in that moment, you will feel something different, not adrenaline. Authority. Authority over yourself. And that is the highest form of power. Emotions spread. Anger spreads quickly, but so does steadiness. When you regulate yourself, you influence the emotional tone of the environment. A composed presence lowers tension. A controlled voice slows escalation. A grounded posture stabilizes chaos. You become an anchor in unstable situations. People begin to rely on you, not because you dominate, but because you do not collapse. This is leadership without force, influence without aggression, strength without noise. Life will continue to provoke you. Not once, not occasionally. Daily, in small ways, in large ways, unexpected ways. The world does not owe you comfort. It offers resistance. And resistance is what builds discipline. So the next time someone attempts to disturb your peace, pause. Remember, your mind is your territory. No one enters without permission. No one controls it without consent. Emotional mastery is not about becoming untouchable. It is about becoming intentional. And intentional people are rare. Now I leave you with something deeper to sit with. When someone provokes you, are you trying to control them? Or finally learning to control yourself? If this message spoke to something deeper in you, if you felt recognized in those quiet battles no one else sees, then this channel is for you. Here we don't chase noise. We build inner strength. We sharpen discipline. We train the mind to remain unshaken in a chaotic world. So subscribe, not for entertainment, for evolution. And activate the notification bell, so you never miss a lesson that might arrive exactly on the day you need it most. Because mastery is not built in one video. It is built through repetition, reflection, and practice. If you are committed to emotional sovereignty, if you are ready to stop being controlled by impulse, then join this community. And remember, the world may test you tomorrow. The question is, will you react or will you remain sovereign?